Ladies and gentlemen, this is Intervlog. I said, this is Intervlog. Welcome to another special edition where we bring you the stories shaping Africa, inspiring the world, and redefining leadership. Today we stand before a remarkable transformation that is not just about agriculture, not just about security, but about the reinvention of service, purpose, and prosperity. We are here to talk about a groundbreaking initiative in Burkina Faso, under the leadership of President Captain Ibrahim Traoré. The conversion of National Armed Forces personnel into pioneers of fish farming in floating cages. This development is not just a story about fish. It is a story about vision. It is a story about discipline transforming into productivity. It is a story about soldiers who once carried rifles now carrying hope, who once guarded the nation now feeding the nation. And above all, it is a story about a president who sees farther than the ordinary, a leader who refuses to let his people or his veterans be left behind. Yes, Captain Ibrahim Traoré is not only a good president, he is a president who embodies the very essence of renewal. On Monday, August 18, 2025, in Ouagadougou, a training session began for 100 servicemen of the National Armed Forces, some retired and others on the brink of retirement. These soldiers are now learning how to cultivate fish in floating cages, thanks to a framework agreement signed between the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal and Fisheries and the Ministry of Defense and Veterans. This initiative is backed by the Farming Resilience and Competitiveness Project, better known as PRECEL. At this session, two important figures stood side by side. The Secretary General of the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Gusu Sanu, and his counterpart from Defense, Colonel Major Yamba Leonard Owoba. Their presence was more than symbolic. It was a testimony that in Burkina Faso today, defense and agriculture are not separate silos, but interconnected pillars of national strength. These servicemen are not left alone with theory. Each of them will receive material support. Floating cages ranging from 75 to 200 cubic meters, fish fry, and fish food. The investment per soldier is about 10 million CFA francs. This is not charity. This is strategic empowerment. The production target for this initiative is ambitious: 9,000 tons of fish annually. The expected revenue? A staggering 18 billion CFA francs. This is how soldiers can become millionaires. This is how discipline can turn into prosperity. This is how food security becomes not just a slogan, but a living reality. President Captain Ibrahim Traoré deserves recognition for this initiative. He is proving that leadership is not about speeches alone, but about concrete actions that change lives. By integrating soldiers into agriculture, he is solving multiple problems at once: employment and unemployment. Soldiers who could have been idle after service now have a dignified, profitable livelihood. Instead of facing unemployment, they become entrepreneurs. Food security. Burkina Faso, like many African nations, spends heavily on importing fish. With this project, foreign exchange will be saved, local production will rise, and fresh fish will be available for all. Peace and stability. Idle veterans can sometimes drift into instability. But when they are empowered, when they have farms to manage, when they have wealth to create, they become pillars of peace. Traoré is telling us through action. A good president is one who prepares his people not just for war, but for life. A good president is one who transforms challenges into opportunities. Let us pause and imagine. A soldier who once earned a modest salary, now owning floating cages producing tons of fish. A single cage can yield thousands of kilograms of fish per cycle. With proper management, the revenues are not just decent, they are transformative. Multiply that across 100 servicemen, and what you have is not just fish production, but a millionaire-making machine. This is why Intervlog says, wow, what a vision, what a transformation. A soldier who gave his youth to defend the homeland now receives the tools to build wealth in his maturity. This is not just government policy. This is respect dignity, and gratitude in action. Unemployment is the scourge of many nations, particularly in Africa, where youth make up the majority. But here is a parable. When you give a man a job, you give him bread for a day. When you teach him to farm fish, you give him bread for a lifetime. Fish farming in floating cages has the potential to absorb not only ex-soldiers but also thousands of young people. It creates value chains, from feed production to marketing, from logistics to processing. One fisherman creates jobs for transporters, sellers, processors, and exporters. A message to world presidents. Intervlog has a message to presidents around the world. Learn from Traoré. Copy his model. Soldiers are not just trained for war, they are disciplined, resilient, and committed. Why let such human capital go to waste? Why let veterans struggle after years of service? Why not integrate them into agriculture, into fisheries, into industries where their discipline can yield economic transformation? Leaders of Africa, leaders of Asia, leaders of Europe, leaders of the Americas. Take a page from Traoré's book. Invest in your soldiers after service. Convert defense into development. Turn rifles into nets. Turn barracks into farms. And turn your veterans into millionaires. How fish farming can help Africa. Africa is blessed with water bodies, rivers, lakes, reservoirs, and coastlines. Yet Africa imports fish. This paradox must end. Fish farming is the solution. It ensures affordable protein for millions, job creation for youth and women, reduced dependence on imports, export opportunities for surplus production, environmental sustainability compared to uncontrolled fishing. Burkina Faso is showing that even a landlocked country can lead the way in aquaculture. With floating cages, any dam, reservoir, or water body becomes a farm. The fish grow, the people eat, the farmers prosper, and the nation rises. Parables from Intervlog. Let us share a few parables to illustrate this transformation. A soldier with a rifle guards the border for a season. A soldier with a floating cage feeds the nation for generations. When you give a veteran a pension, he survives. When you give him a fish farm, he thrives. Bullets end lives, but fish farming sustains lives. The gun defends the present. The fish cage secures the future. These parables remind us that what is happening in Burkina Faso is not just policy. It is wisdom. Regional and global implications. If Burkina Faso can achieve 9,000 tons of fish annually with just 100 soldiers, imagine what 1,000 soldiers across the region could do. Imagine what 10,000 veterans across Africa could achieve. The numbers multiply into hundreds of thousands of tons, billions in revenue, and millions of jobs. This is the ripple effect of good leadership. One idea, well implemented, can transform a continent. The framework agreement signed in August 2024 between the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Defense is not a small plan. It is designed to reach at least 1,000 beneficiaries over a period of 5 years. That means 1,000 retired or soon-to-be retired soldiers will receive training, cages, fry, feed, and capital support. At the same production rate, this could yield 90,000 tons of fish annually. Revenues could climb toward 180 billion CFA francs. That scale of production changes not only the economy of Burkina Faso, but also the balance of fish supply in West Africa. Burkina Faso could become a net exporter of fish. A landlocked country becoming a fish exporter. This is the kind of transformation that sounds like a parable, but is real. Soldiers are trained in discipline, endurance, and leadership. These same skills are transferable to farming. Fish farming requires patience, routine, attention to detail, and the ability to follow precise feeding and harvesting schedules. Soldiers already excel at such qualities. That is why this conversion program is destined for success. Parable. The same patience that keeps a soldier awake at the watchtower is the patience that raises fish to maturity. When a country feeds itself, it is free. When a country depends on imports, it is vulnerable. President Traoré understands this truth. By turning soldiers into farmers, he is not just creating jobs. He is building a nation that can stand tall, proud, and independent. This is about dignity as much as it is about economics. Intervlog says, wow, Burkina Faso is writing a new chapter of independence. For decades, nations have debated what to do with soldiers after their service. Some are left neglected, others given small pensions. Few are empowered to create wealth. Burkina Faso is pioneering a model that should be studied in military academies and policy schools across the globe. Soldiers as fish farmers, veterans as agripreneurs. This is innovation. The Secretary General of the Ministry of Defense, Colonel Major Yamba Leonard Uwoba, put it well. Valorizing veterans is a lever for peace, social stability, and economic development. Indeed, when veterans are secure, when they have livelihoods, they are less likely to be drawn into instability. Peace is not just the absence of war. Peace is the presence of opportunity. Parable. A nation that feeds its soldiers after war never fears war again. Fish farming is not an isolated activity. It requires inputs like feed, equipment, cages, and technical support. It requires downstream processing, packaging, and marketing. Each of these areas creates new industries, new businesses, new wealth. With 1,000 beneficiaries, a whole ecosystem will emerge, supporting thousands more indirectly. This initiative is not just about fish. It is about transforming lives, redefining service, and turning discipline into wealth. President Traoré deserves praise for his foresight. He has recognized that soldiers trained in discipline and resilience can be successful entrepreneurs after their service. By channeling their skills into aquaculture, he is solving multiple national challenges at once. Retired soldiers are no longer left idle. Instead, they receive dignified, profitable livelihoods. Burkina Faso reduces its dependence on imported fish, saving foreign exchange while ensuring fresh local supply. Empowered veterans become contributors to economic growth and social cohesion. This initiative shows how a soldier who once defended the nation with a rifle can now feed the nation with fish. It is proof that prosperity and peace are linked. For Africa, this model is transformative. The continent has vast rivers, lakes, and reservoirs, yet still imports fish. Floating cage farming can change this, providing protein for millions, creating jobs for youth and women, and opening export opportunities. Burkina Faso is showing that farming is not a symbol of poverty, but a path to wealth. This is the end of our program today. See you on Intervlog, same time tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get new video updates. Thank you for watching Intervlog. Thank you.